Hey, what's going on, guys? Welcome back to my awesome YouTube channel. And today we are discussing conditional statements in Go programming language. So, what exactly is a conditional statement? A conditional statement allows a certain block of code or a set of lines of code to be executed only if a certain condition is met. In Go, we have two types of conditionals, which are if-else statements as well as switch. And we will be trying to understand both by example. And to build a good understanding, we will first see a problem statement and try to see how we can solve this problem using conditionals. So the problem here is this. We have to grade a student according to his score in a particular test. If he scored between 0 to 40, he gets an F. If it's 40 to 80, we give him a B. 80 to 90, we give him an A. And 90 plus, we are going to award him with an A plus. Let us try to solve this problem using if-else statements, and let us also try to understand their working. So we'll get started by learning about the syntax of an if statement. So we begin by saying if, and then we either provide a Boolean value or any expression which can evaluate to a Boolean value. I will get started with the Boolean value. So I say true. Then I open a block of statements, and the thing I'll do in this statement is simply print fmt dot print ln, and I will say path 1. And when I run this, I can see that path 1 gets printed on my screen. So after the first if you want to add more conditions, you can simply say an else and repeat the syntax of an if. So like I told you, I can give either a Boolean value or any expression that evaluates to a Boolean value. Let me just simply say if 10 is equal to 10, which all of you know will evaluate to true. And then again I say fmt dot print ln. So what is the output that all of you are expecting? Let's run this, and we see that only path 1 gets printed. But what about part 2? Because this condition is obviously true. So what happens in an else if is that if any of the preceding conditions in the if else happen to be true, all the subsequent conditions are not considered. Okay, so in this case, since this condition happens to be true, this statement is executed, and anything which is a part of the if else block further below is ignored. Now, suppose I turn this condition into false, then we can see that we receive a completely different output because this condition happens to be false. So this statement is not executed. The control comes here, else if this condition evaluates to a true value, and therefore this statement gets executed. And we can actually keep on augmenting this. So let me again say if 10 is okay, here I'll say if 10 is equal to 10, and here I'll say if 10 is greater than 10. Obviously 10 is not greater than 10, and this path shouldn't be executed, but this one should be. So I run this, and we see that our output is only path 3. And lastly, if each and every condition turns out to be false, I can simply give a sort of a default condition which will be executed if none of the above 4 conditions match to be true. So we say is 10 greater than 10, then let us say is 10 less than 10. So all of these 3 conditions are false. So this is the statement which will be executed. And we can see that our output is path 4. All right, since we have the basic framework ready, let us try to solve the problem that we actually came here to solve. So let me define a variable holding the score of the student, and let this be in this case 75. Okay, so the first condition is an if the score happens to be between 0 to 40. So all of you have seen the video on operators, and if you haven't, please do go watch it because we will be using operators in our conditions. So if we say that score is greater than equal to 0 and the score is less than equal to 40, we have to give a grade of F to the student. And I am actually seeing a problem here. Now, we don't know whether 40 is included in this group or this group. So I'll simply be changing it to 41 and I'll be changing this one to 81 and this one to 91. All right. So next, in the next else if, we can simply say if score is greater than and equal to 41 and less than and equal to 80, we are giving the student a grade of B. Similarly, if we find a score which is greater than 81 and a score which is less than and equal to 90, sorry, greater than or equal to 81 and less than and equal to 90, we give the student a score, a grade of A. And lastly, if it is anything greater than 91, we give the student a score, a grade of A plus. So let me actually explicitly go ahead and state that. So if score is greater than equal to 91, we give a grade of A plus. Let us see if we wrote our program correctly. Oh, well, there you have it. The score is 75. It falls into this category and the student gets a grade of B. Let us try all of the cases. Suppose the score is 20. We say run. And yes, it's an F. Sorry about that. Then let us try 85. Let's run this. And yes, we have an A. And what about a perfect score of 100? We see that we have an A plus. So one nice thing to make note of here is that the conditions in a go if statement do not need to be surrounded by parentheses as in case of many other languages. I mean, if I go ahead and run this, it will still run. It won't throw an error, but it is just not required. And the last thing is that we could actually have moved the variable declaration from where it was declared to right here in the first if statement, and this variable will be available for the entire if else clause. So if I go ahead and run this program now, we see that we still have the same result. And that is all about if statements in Go. Let us discuss switch statements next. And before we go, all of the code that we just discussed is available in this GitHub repository aedorado/learninggo basics 1 in these files if.go as well as switch.go. So do check out this repository, do check out my GitHub profile as well. And that's going to be it for this time. And I hope you were able to understand what are conditionals, how we use them in programming, and how they might be different from other languages as compared to Go. And before you go, do leave a like below if you find the content of the video helpful. If you find the content of my channel helpful, please click subscribe. And are you enjoying learning Go with me? Do tell me in the comments below what kind of more videos do you want me to make. Do tell me in the comments below again. And like always, thanks a lot for watching.